Ovigrinanti ye bhurida janaha. So we will be discussing a new chapter today. The topic of this chapter is Sri Ramakrishna in Samadhi with devotees in the dead of night of Kali Puja in Dakshineshwar. So Kali Puja was a very big event, obviously, because the name of the mother was Bhavatarani Ma Kali. So naturally, Kali Puja used to be performed as per scriptural injunctions. It has to be performed at the dead of night. So M. Baburam, Gopal, Haripada, and one of Niranjanananda's relative, then Ramlal and Hazra were present. And the date was Saturday, 18th October 1884, the occasion of the Kali Puja. The worship will start at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. That is normally when the puja begins. Not before 9. It normally begins after 9 and it lasts throughout the night till sunrise. That's the idea. A number of devotees intend to see Sri Ramakrishna in this deep dark night of the new moon. That is Amavasya. They are coming in hurriedly. All of them are very keen because the vibrations, especially when the puja, when it is nearing midnight, obviously Sri Ramakrishna would be in a very high spiritual state. So M has come at about 8 in the evening. He is already there before the puja has started. And reaching the garden, he sees that the great celebrations at Kali temple have already started. By 8, the preparations and other things have started. The glow from the lamps in the temple light up the shrine beautifully. You might be aware, in those days, there were hardly only, most of the lamps were gas lamps. Even gas was transmitted through pipes, and rich people could afford to have these gas lamps. Otherwise, there would be oil lamps and maybe candles. Candles were not so common, but oil lamps used to be very common. So I assume that most of the lamps that were lit, the glow from the lamps were oil lamps. Every now and then, the music of the Roshan Chowki is a place where a symphony of different instruments would be played throughout the night. That would go on as a background music. So Shehnai was the main instrument. And apart from Shehnai is like something like a pipe. And along with that, there would be other musicians who would accompany that Shehnai player. That was done in Roshan Chowki. So now and then they would play some auspicious tune. As you all know, according to the Hindustani classical musical tradition, there's music for every hour. There's a raga for every hour. So if it is 8 o'clock, maybe a suitable raga would be played by some expert. So we find that that music was going on. And the employees of the temple are moving here and there quickly from one place to another in the garden. The villagers of Dakshineshwar have heard that there will be a celebration tonight at the Kali temple of Rasmani. Late at night, a musical play will be staged. So many people come only for that. They may not be interested in the worship as such. But obviously, the play, which was obviously on a very divine theme, would be conducted to attract the common devotees, the villagers. Old men, women, and children frequently come to the temple for the darshan of the deity. The Chandi was recited earlier in the evening by Raj Narayan. So Chandi recital is part of the Kali Puja. And full of divine joy, he heard it. Thakur was full of divine joy when he heard this Chandi chanting, and he heard it along with other devotees. Today, the mother of the universe will be worshipped, so Thakur is overwhelmed with joy. Now, this is all as M has described it, this particular day, 18th October 1884. Arriving at 8 o'clock, M finds Thakur seated on a smaller cot in his room. There was a bigger cot where he used to sleep with a mosquito net, and a smaller cot where he used to sit when he talked with devotees. So there would be a mat in front of that smaller cot. You can see it in Dakshineshwar even now. So there, a number of devotees were sitting facing him. They are Baburam, the Choto Gopal or younger Gopal, Haripada, Kishori, a young man related to Niranjan, and another man from Aryadaha. Aryadaha is a place near Calcutta. Ramlal and Hazra come and go intermittently. Obviously, Ramlal was involved in the puja preparations, and Hazra was busy with his devotees and gossiping with them, trying to show off how much knowledge he has and criticizing other people. That was the role he played in the divine drama of Sri Ramakrishna. He had his own role to play, and he was part of the celebration in his own way. The relative of Niranjan is seated in front of Thakur. He is meditating as Thakur had asked him to do. So perhaps he had come for some spiritual instructions as well, and he was meditating sitting in front of Thakur. M salutes Thakur and sits down. After a while, Niranjan's relative salutes Thakur and takes his leave. The other young man from Aryadaha offers his obeisance and rises to live with him. So those two people, they perhaps came much earlier than M, and now they are about to leave. Then Sri Ramakrishna to Niranjan's relative, the one who was meditating according to his instructions, he says, when will you come next? The devotee says, possibly on Monday. Possibly on Monday, sir. Then Sri Ramakrishna very lovingly, do you need the lamp? Would you like to take it with you? Because it was dark and normally there was a risk of someone falling down because the lamps were the only recourse people took to when they walked in the dark. So they had to carry lamps, perhaps keep it when they leave the building, leave the temple. So there would be many steps, and all the places were not illuminated. Normally, the temple and everything would close down, but because of Kali Puja, it is dark, but at the same time, a lot of lamps have been lit. So he was asking, do you want a lamp? Would you like to take it with you? Some other lamps would be there, which were covered with glass, which could be carried. It's something like a lantern. So there would be oil and a wick, and the lamp would be protected by a glass cover, and there was a handle. So sometimes that lamp was used by people instead of a torch. So anyway, the devotee says, no, sir, I don't live far from the garden, so I don't need it. Then Sri Ramakrishna to the young man from Aryadaha, are you also leaving? So he was the one who came with Niranjan's relative. The boy said, sir, I have a slight cold. Sri Ramakrishna. See, Sri Ramakrishna is very much worried. He says, oh, in that case, you must cover your head on your way home. They both salute Thakur and then they leave. So Sri Ramakrishna is with devotees now. In the dead of night at the Kali Puja in Dakshineshwar, in the joy of devotional songs. This is the second part of the chapter. It's a deep, dark night of the new moon, and the worship of the Mother of the Universe is being performed. Sri Ramakrishna is leaning against a pillow on his cot. He is in a pensive mood. He says a word or two to the devotees now and then. Suddenly he looks at M and the devotees and says, oh, how wonderfully that young man meditates. The one who had just left Niranjan's relative, whom Thakur had given some instructions. He says, how nicely he meditated, how that young man meditates. And then he, addressing Haripada, he says, I say, what a meditation it was. So Thakur could feel the vibrations of that devotee who had come to get some instructions on meditation. Perhaps he got whatever he wanted from Thakur. That's why he is leaving. He doesn't want to sit anymore because he had found what he sought. So Haripada says, yes, sir. I saw he was just like a log of wood. Sri Ramakrishna to Kishori, do you know him? He is a cousin of Niranjan. Again, there was complete silence. Haripada is gently stroking Thakur's feet. Thakur had heard the Chandi sung late in the afternoon. It is as though it now comes spontaneously from him. He softly sings a beautiful song. Is there anyone who knows Kali? She who is the consort of Kala. Kala means time. She is a companion of time. That is why she is known as Kali. Even the 6 schools of philosophy do not reveal her nature. The yogi meditates on her at the Muladhara and also up to the Sahasrara. So Muladhara is the first lotus in Kundalini. They say when the spiritual nervous energy is first awakened, it starts from the Muladhara, it comes up to the heart. That is where it should stabilize. So it is like a lotus with 4 petals, the Muladhara, and it is in the root of the Sushumna, the spinal column. It's at the root. So when this energy by spiritual practices is raised to a higher level of consciousness, you feel, they say the Kundalini is rising. So the yogis start their meditation from Muladhara and then they go up to Sahasrara, that is the chakra, the last chakra on the head, the 6th one. Sahasrara is a lotus of 1,000 petals, which is the goal of spiritual energy, Shakti, that is awakened by yogis who begin from the Muladhara and go up to Sahasrara. When the Shakti reaches the Sahasrara and becomes united with Shiva or Brahman, the result is Samadhi or Brahmajnana. So Sri Ramakrishna is singing this song where it says the yogi meditates on her, on Kali, who is the consort of Kala, that is time. Kala is also Shiva, but also it refers to time. So she is the Shakti. Being Shakti, she devours time, as it were, because we live in time. When we merge with Kala in the Sahasrara with Shiva, then there is no time. And if there is no time, there is no cause, no effect. So all our karma has to be destroyed before we reach that Kala. And since she is the companion of Kala, she creates time and also she is the one who will destroy and give us timelessness by uniting with Kala. So that is the idea. So the yogi starts from uncertainty, which is the lowest chakra, then he goes up and up and up. Normally for a long time, you have to focus on the heart chakra, where you realize the buddhi is awakened, and that buddhi helps us to go higher and higher and realize the goal of life by uniting this Shakti with Shiva at the Sahasrara. So that's the essence of all puja. We have to imagine, we keep a flower on the head and induce or imagine that the Kundalini Shakti is rising through the Sushumna in the spinal cord and touching the Sahasrara, the lotus on the top of the head, that is Sahasrara. Though it is supposed to be a 1,000-petal lotus, white lotus, we obviously cannot think of 1,000 petals, a lot of petals which are 1,000 in number. Then a goose and a gander go about in this wilderness of lotuses and associate with each other. That is symbolically a goose and a gander, they together, that is Shiva and Shakti, are Kala and his consort Kali. So that is how, if you see the diagram that was drawn in the Raj Yoga published from Udbodhan. Unfortunately, that figure is there in some of the foreign editions of Raj Yoga. Swami Shardanandji had a figure drawn where there is like a central stalk, that is the spinal cord, and a snake is, as it were, wrapped around that middle straight line or stick, and it touches the stick in 6 different points and up to the Sahasrara. That means the Kala and his consort, that is Kali, they act at different levels. When they are at the Muladhara, the union is not there. It touches, no doubt, but at the same time, that is a lower form of consciousness. As you go up the different chakras and come to the 4th chakra, which is the heart, there you find that it is also known as Chit Jada Granthi, the place where you really find that you are a spirit more than you are matter. Till then, you are all predominantly matter with a little spirit. After the heart chakra, you are more of spirit and less of body or the gross matter. So that is the symbology associated with this Kala and Kali. Kala and his consort Kali. So my Divine Mother, there's part of the song actually. This is a prose, but actually it is a song with such deep meaning. My Divine Mother is the most beloved of Shiva, the Absolute, even as Sita is the most beloved of Rama. She appears in her majesty in each ghat. Ghat means the body is supposed to be a ghata. In space, our body, our gross body and the subtle body encompasses a small part of the universal space. That is why it is compared to a ghata, to just visualize. Just as a ghata, there is space inside and outside. But as long as the pot is not broken, the space inside the pot is known as ghata. When you say ghata, the pot, it automatically you don't mean the space outside. So that is not part of the pot. So he says, though she is infinite space, you cannot limit her, but she gets limited by this ghata, finite being, as an individual, just as she pleases. She can manifest herself as one person, two persons, millions of people. She can destroy them. She can again create them. So she is Ichhamoyi. Ichhamoyi means one with whose will the jivas come into existence, live and then die. I mean the ghata, the pot. So all of us are pots. So like a pot, one who makes pot, at his sweet will, he will create a pot. At his sweet will, he will destroy and recreate if necessary. Similarly, it is the Mahakala, that is the spirit of eternity or absolute, that knows, that alone knows. Only Mahakala knows who Mahakali is. We can just guess, but our knowledge is limited. So the poet says, only Mahakala knows who Mahakali is. Greatness which is hidden from the view of ordinary beings. Who else can know her to that extent as Mahakala knows? My Divine Mother gives birth to the universe. And now just think of her greatness. This whole universe is created by her. Says Prasad, that is the one who wrote this composition, Ram Prasad. To think that one can know her, if somebody foolishly thinks he can know Kali, is to think that one can swim across the mighty ocean. It is as difficult as that. People will only laugh at this idea. So don't even try to know her. Just love her and she will shower her grace upon you. Now, I understand, he says, Prasad continues, I understand this well enough with my mind. He says, all these things I have understood intellectually and I'm repeating it in the form of a song. But has my heart felt that truth? But alas, my prana, that is heart. Normally, when you say prana, my prana, that means you refer to your heart. That is a spiritual consciousness that you feel. So he says, my prana or heart will not see this. I don't feel this as a truth. I know it is a truth because the scripture says so, because the previous saints have said so. But then, unless I realize it here, unless my spiritual heart awakens, the buddhi awakens, and I realize that truth in my heart, it is just in my mind. That's not of much use. It is like a dwarf, a Bamon. Bamon means small. Vaman. Vaman is known as Bamon. So it is like a dwarf. First of all, he is dwarf. At least if he was tall, then that would be fine. But a small dwarf is trying to reach out and touch the moon. It is something like that. To understand my mother Kali, when I am just like a dwarf trying to reach the moon, it's as impossible as that. So Thakur now is listening very intently to this song of Ram Prasad. He sits up. He was leaning against the pillow, but the moment he hears this song, he sits up. It is the day of the worship of the mother, Kali Puja. So he's going to recite her name. Next, he himself sings with great enthusiasm this song. And the song says, all this is the sport of my mad mother. So many times, mother is addressed as a mad mother because she doesn't see, when you think of mad people, they don't seem to have a purpose in life. So from a worldly perspective, it is sheer madness. You create, you make a person live, and then one day you kill, and you find joy in all. So from a worldly level, for people who are attached to their lives, to their property, to everything that they hold dear, this destruction as a form of the Divine Mother Kali is very difficult to understand. That's why they call her mad. So also, this poet whose song Sri Ramakrishna is going to sing, he says, all this is the sport of my mad mother, whose Maya has diluted the three worlds. All this is the infallible secret play of that mad lady. So he is angry because he is not able to understand. This is in the beginning of one's bhakti journey to understand. When the child doesn't understand, he cries or he shouts, he abuses the mother, and he is angry with the mother when he doesn't understand the reason why mother is depriving him of certain things. She wants to help the child, but the child doesn't understand. It wants its demands to be met. That's why the mother doesn't feel bad if the child abuses, scolds, and like this Ram Prasad or whoever has composed this song, which Thakur is singing, he is addressing the mother as mad, who is playing her secret play, and we cannot understand this strange play of mother. Then he says, the poet goes further, he's so angry with mother, or so, because he's not able to understand the divine play. She herself is mad, and her mad is her husband. And so are we both of her disciples. So that is what he's saying. He says, otherwise, why will we worship? If she is mad, her husband is mad, who's sitting, Shiva, who is lying down, and she's dancing on his chest. So when out of ignorance, a person doesn't understand the divine play, but at the same time is attracted, he cannot leave Mother Kali. It is then like a child shouting. He knows he wants the mother, but he wants the mother to behave with him in a particular way. And if she doesn't, he even abuses her, beats her sometimes. Because his logic has gone to winds. He cannot think of, he thinks whatever the mother does, not fulfilling her desire or his desire, the child's desire, It's like madness. I'm asking for something and she's not giving me. So then he says, you and your husband both are mad. That is what the devotee is saying. One cannot see in what form she is. I mean, she changes her form so quickly that one cannot understand her ways, how she conducts herself, or what her bhava or mood is. So if I don't call her mad, what else shall I call her? That is what the poet means here. So then he says, coming to Shiva, he has already gobbled up poison because he was a fool. The Asuras gave him poison. The nectar and the poison both came when the Samudra Manthan took place. And everybody knew that poison is so dangerous that all of them will die. And because Shiva was there, they thought Shiva can digest this poison, not we. That's why they give the poison and he just drinks the whole poison so that it does not harm humanity. That is why it's known as Nilakantha. The whole neck becomes blue because of the poison. It is so deadly poison. So with burning poison in his throat, I don't understand. He's lying down flat. Mother is dancing on his chest, and with the poison in his neck, he's still chanting her name. Then he says, the mother does another thing. She creates a controversy between personal God and the impersonal. She breaks one clod of earth with another. I mean, in those days, there used to be a quarrel. People who did not want to realize or experience God, they would fight about the details. They would argue that this personal God is useless. You should believe in Advaita, the impersonal God. And she says it is my mother herself who is doing all this. She is breaking one clod of earth. Both are quarreling. Both of them do not have any substance or realization. It is like taking two clods of earth. When you bang them against each other, they will just break into pieces. So it is she who is doing it. She is making one person fight against the other. This lady is happy with everything except work which angers her. So this lady means Ma Kali. She is happy with everything except work which angers her. So certain work which she doesn't like, except for that, she is happy with everything. She sees the world in a different way. Says Prasad, float the raft patiently on the sea of life. So in such a condition, when we know the father, mother, both are mad, and this mad play is going on, so what shall I do? He says, just float. You are in a boat, and the sea is very, there's a lot of waves, and it is a very rough sea. All you have to do is patiently wait on the sea of life. So this sea of life is going to toss all of us up and down. There will be ups, there will be downs. The waves will continuously making the raft go up and down. But you have to wait patiently. It will drift up with the tide and drift down when it ebbs. So Thakur is very much intoxicated when he hears this wonderful song. He is in divine love. He is just intoxicated. And he says, all these songs indicate the state of divine inebriation. Inebriation means that high state of mind where you stop reasoning. You don't use logic trying to understand the work of Mother Kali. So he sings several other songs. He sings, in fact, 3 more songs. One is, O Mother Kali, I am going to devour you this time. These are all very deeply philosophical songs. What do you mean by devouring Kali? So it means that I'll understand the secret of what your divine play and transcend it. Devouring Kali means not being affected or not being influenced by the changes. You make whatever changes you like in my life or in the situation around me, but I am holding on to the Kala. I am not going to be. So that's why I'll devour you. Devour you means I'll eat you. So time will not be able to dictate to me. So there is one song. Therefore, I ask you, O Kali, there is another song, which the M has not given the other verses. And the third, he is giving the whole song because perhaps Thakur just sang one or two lines of the first two songs. Third song, he is speaking of blissful Kali, Sadanandamayi Kali. Sadanandamayi Kali, that means my Kali is always blissful. The enchantress of the heart of Almighty Mahakala. So she is the one who enchants the Mahakala, who is lying down and looking at the Mahakali or the divine drama of Kali with wonder. You dance alone. You sing alone, clapping your hands. That is how they normally depict. If you see the Dakshineshwar Kali temple, the image is Kali is dancing on the chest of Shiva. So you are the blissful Kali. You dance alone, you sing alone, and clap your hands. O Mother, you are the first cause, the Adi Karana, the eternal one in the form of void, and wearing a moon on your forehead. When the universe did not exist, where did you find your string of severed human heads? So she is wearing, if you see the Mother Kali's picture, you'll find a lot of heads being cut and tied with a thread. So they are all hanging there. And he said, since you were born of void, you are the first cause. Where did you get Mundamala? They call it Mundamala Kothai Peli. Means where did you get this horrible dress of yours with heads hanging? That is the dress Ma Kali wears. And he says, your string of severed human heads, where did you get it from? You alone are the mover in everybody. We are but instruments in your hands. We know that song, the saint or the poet says that I know you are moving everyone. You are the one who kills and you are the one who is killed. Both. And you have come out of void. The universe did not exist when you were one with Shiva. So how come you came with all these terrible human heads which you have yourself cut with your own hands, or maybe you have got it cut down? And those hands, that horrible dress of yours. He says, you move as you make us move. We move as you make us move. We speak as you make us speak. But says Kamalakanta, who is another saint who used to write poems on her, gently chides you, saying, O Mother, the destroyer of all, holding your sword, now you have devoured both my virtue and vice. So he knows the symbology behind the sword, that I have done many virtuous deeds, of which I wish I could get some benefit out of it. But at the same time, I have done a lot of vices, committed a lot of sins and vices. So I request you, I don't want the fruits of, I just want mukti. You destroy, you devour both my virtue as well as vice. So what Kamalakanta says is, you just can't give the vices and ask God to destroy it and enjoy the benefits of your virtues. Papa and Punya, though both have to be given up, the fruits of all our actions, you take it. And you devour the whole thing and take me to the ultimate cause or freedom, mukti. Then the last song which he sings is Jai Ma Kali, that if I die, uttering victory to Kali, that is Jai Kali, I shall surely attain Shivahood. Then what is the use of going to Banaras? If I can, Banaras people go because they want to get mukti. But he says, if I just die chanting Ma Kali's name, which I am confident I will, why should I go to Banaras to get mukti? I'll get it anywhere. Infinite are my mother Kali's forms. Who can find the end of Kali? End of Kali means the limit of Kali. We cannot understand her, nor do we try to understand. We just want to die chanting her name so that we go beyond Kali, beyond Kala, and merge into this mukti, or merge into get that Shivahood, be one with the unchanging principle of life. So, knowing a little of her greatness, I don't know the full greatness, but I know surely your greatness is so much that even Shiva lies prostrate at your red-hued feet. So that is what another song. As the song ends, the two sons of Rajnarayan come and salute Thakur. Rajnarayan was the one who had chanted the Chandi in the evening in the Nat Mandir. His two sons had chanted with him. Thakur sings the song again with the boys. At this, all this is the sport of my mad mother. That is the song he sings. The younger boy says to Thakur, can't we have that song again? Which reads like this: O Lord, O full, so full of compassion. Sri Ramakrishna says, Gaur and Nitai, you two brothers, saying so, he sings that song. O Lord, Gaur and Nitai, you two brothers are full of compassion. Perhaps the Rajnarayan's sons had enough of this mad Kali's description being sung. So they wanted something more soothing. So they come to Chaitanya, they ask, can you not sing this song? That is Gaur and Nitai, the two young boys, two brothers. They are full of compassion. So devotees, especially devotees of Vishnu, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they don't want to see the terrible form of. That's why they even end up criticizing that what kind of concept of God you have. Kali is not a concept we should worship. Even Brahmos did not like. They thought it is tamasic puja. So even Sister Nivedita, when she wrote a book and wanted to speak on Kali, she was criticized by the Vaishnavas and others, saying that you don't preach superstition. They thought only people who are tamasic sing these songs and follow Kali. Vishnu should be followed because he is full of compassion, and the Vaishnavas believe in that. So perhaps these two young boys of Rajnarayan, sons of Rajnarayan, wanted Thakur to sing that song rather than Ma Kali's song, which confused them. Perhaps it confused them, we do not know. Or maybe they did not want. But anyway, Thakur sings though that song also. The song ends, Ramlal enters the room. Thakur says to him, sing a little. He was also a good singer. It is the day of the worship of Kali. So he knew Ramlal and all, they were, in fact, some of his own relatives criticized him. They were so staunch followers of Vishnu that they used to go to Lakshmi Narayan or the Krishna temple there, Lakshmi Narayan and temple there, Sham's, that is Krishna's temple, and they would refuse to go to the Kali temple, and even they ignorantly is to criticize Sri Ramakrishna, saying that you seem to be a tamasic person, that is why you like Kali. Why don't you? Our whole family has worshipped Rama. That's why all the names of all the brothers of Sri Ramakrishna started with Rama, Ram Lala. Everybody had Ram, Hriday Ram, Rameshwar, Ram Kumar. You see everywhere because their Ishta was Rama. So Ramlal comes, and Thakur perhaps knew that he would like to sing something just like the Rajnarayan's boys. They said, why don't you sing the song where two brothers, Gaur and Nitai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are full of compassion. It's a very mild and pleasant song. Why just sing of Kali? Perhaps that is the idea. So Ramlal is forced to sing Ma Kali's song, and he really sings a very, very you may say, a song which describes the dangerous part or the cruel part of Mother Kali. Then it is a very, this Kali Kirtan, if you see, there are very nice songs about the compassionate Mother Kali. At the same time, Kali, who is on the battlefield killing the demons and all those things, songs are there. So he sings the song, "Who is this woman who lights the battlefield?" So this is also a Kali Kirtan, which is normally sung during Kali Puja, where says, Samare Nachere Ke Ramani, means who is this lady, this woman, huge woman, black woman, who is lighting the whole battlefield with her light and killing. Her body is like a dark cloud storm, and her teeth flash like lightning, the white teeth in a very dark body. Her hair is disheveled, and she runs about fearlessly among the gods and demons. She destroys the demons with her terrible laughter on her face. Thus she flashes her lightning in battle. So then the song continues. It's a beautiful song. I mean, Kamalakanta's song. He said, drops of diligence falling on her body of red lotuses look so beautiful. Behold her, sea of beauty. The moon has shed its light. It is impossible that Shiva, who enthralls the universe, is lying at her feet as though dead. Kamalakanta wonders who this woman with the gait of an elephant can be. Second, the next song also is equally uh, terrifying, and Ramlal sings, "Who is this woman in the midst of the battlefield, dark as the sky at midnight? She who is floating like a blue lotus on the red sea of blood." I mean, it's like a horror scene. Imagine a red sea of blood and blue, though Kali is supposed to be black. Like Krishna, she is dark blue, deep blue. So it's like a blue lotus floating on a, I mean, it's a very horrifying scene which has been described here. But finally ends with a very nice song. He says, Majulo Amar Mono Brahmara, my mind, the bee of my mind. If the mind is compared to a bee, why is it compared to a bee? Because it's always moving here and there. If you see the bee, before it sucks the honey, if you see the actions of a bee, honey bee, it will hover around the flower, flapping its wings. That is how our mind is like. It's always disturbed, always full of uncertainty and waves and anxieties, fears, worries, till it lands on the flower and sucks the honey. Then it stops. Then it almost droops. The wings droop. They don't. Uh, I mean, they don't flutter. The bees, if they make less noise when they are sipping their honey. So he says, when it lands, it's figurative. It says when the floating like a blue lotus on the then it is drinking deep at the blue lotus like feet of Mother Shama. So it is a blue lotus, but when the bee of my mind focuses on that, it is like a bee settling down on a blue lotus and enjoying the nectar, sipping the honey, rather than moving here and there as a restless bee. The music and dance end. The devotees again sit on the floor, and Thakur sits on the smaller cot. So there's been a lot of singing going on, different types of song, and Thakur is enjoying it thoroughly. He says to M, "Oh, you were not here. How nice the Chandi was." So throughout the day, he was attending all the events. Though himself did not do puja, he is in that stage of life when he is not inclined to do any ritualistic worship. But that doesn't mean he doesn't enjoy. He has attended the Chandi, he sits on his cot and makes people sing while the ritualistic worship is going on in the temple. But he was not directly involved because the significance of Kali Puja is more important than the puja rituals themselves. So Thakur has understood that So he's enjoying the songs, now and then giving his own voice to it, and also trying to explain what is the significance. We'll see in the next section. Everything in these songs, which appear to be confusing, has been explained so nicely by Thakur. He was not a scholar or an academician, but at the same time, you will find he's gently explaining to the people that don't just come here, enjoy not only the puja but also the songs. Puja is a ritual done with some kind of attitude which does not behove of a spiritual aspirant. That deep focus, the son of Niranjanananda's friend who came, Sri Ramakrishna was impressed because though he might not have participated in the Kali Puja, whenever he came, when he came there, he was like a log of wood. Thakur liked the way he could meditate. For him, that was more important. The meditation on the meaning and purpose of the divine drama of Divine Mother Kali was more important than the puja. So he is not participating directly in the puja that is going on, and the people who are in charge of that, they are running around keen to finish the puja on time and all those things, follow the rituals perfectly. Everything is fine, but Thakur seems to be in a different world. So now this subsection will describe the samadhi. He goes into a state of samadhi, listening to the wonderful songs of Kali. And voice from above concerning intimate disciples. He gets a strange kind of intuition regarding who his intimate disciples will be. Some of the devotees, not all, so only some devotees go to the Kali temple for darshan of the deity. It's a big Kali puja is going on there, but some prefer to stay with Thakur. Others, having paid their homage, sit alone on the ghat steps of the bank of Ganges and are silently repeating the name. This is more difficult to do, to sit quietly in a and use that day, that very auspicious day, silently repeating the name, according to Thakur, is much higher. Because in the din and noise and all that, it is good for a restless mind. Because at least their restless mind and their restlessness can be channelized during puja. They will definitely have to be disciplined when the puja is going on. So for very gross minds and for people who are very restless, all these pujas and rituals are devised so that their already restless minds, restless for money, restless for power, restless for activity, at least during the puja, there it is controlled. It is restricted. Maybe out of fear that I have to do this Kali Puja and it should be perfect and all those things. Those things are important because otherwise these people would have spent. So that is why we find so many pujas in our culture to cater to the needs of people who have a very, very restless mind, who would have otherwise gone for picnics and just spent their money and time and energy in doing useless things. So at least in the name of Kali, they are all gathering. That is one idea. But M has noticed that Thakur is encouraging people to silently repeat Kali's name, and he is himself doing it. Though he has gone for darshan, he is making them sing songs, but now and then he goes into deep samadhi, silently repeating the name of Mother Kali. It is about 11 o'clock, deep in the night. The puja is still going on. The Bhagirathi flows towards the north in flood tide. One has glimpses of the dark colored water under the lights of the lamps on the bank. So M is perhaps attracted to this. He's seeing on one side people rushing, going to the temple, doing puja and all those things. And on the other side, he's seeing some of them prefer to do, maybe their Ishta is Kali. They're repeating the Ma Kali's name, reflecting upon the dark river Ganga. Midnight, perhaps they see the divine drama of Kali. Kali as The companion of Kala is flowing. So Ramlal comes to the mother shrine with a book titled Rituals of Worship to place in the shrine. Seeing Mani looking eagerly at the mother, he says, "Would you like to come in?" Mani enters the shrine gratefully. He sees the beautiful mother beautifully decorated. The shrine is well lit. There are two lamps in front of her, and the chandeliers hang from the ceiling. The offerings of worship fill the floor of the shrine. The mother's feet are At the mother's feet are hibiscus flowers and bilva leaves. The priest in charge of clothing her has decorated the mother with various garlands. Mani sees a chamara hanging in front of him. It suddenly comes to his mind how Sri Ramakrishna fans the goddess with the same chamara. Hesitatingly, he asks Ramlal whether he can use the chamara for a while. Ramlal permits him to fan the mother with it. The worship has not yet started. All those devotees who had gone out return to Sri Ramakrishna's room and assemble there. Benipal has sent an invitation for Thakur to visit the Siti Brahmo Samaj the next day. Obviously, he will not come because they did not believe in Kali Puja. The Brahmos were against the worship of Ma Kali. In fact, they were against any kind of idol worship, but especially Ma Kali, they were very critical. Anyway, he has invited, but they don't mind that all the devotees of Mother Kali will again go and assemble in the Brahmo festival along with the Brahmos. He had, however, made a mistake in the letter concerning the date. Then Sri Ramakrishna knows that. And he says, Benipal has sent an invitation, but I would like to know why he has given this date. M says, sir, there is a mistake. The letter has not been written carefully. So Thakur was very careful about that. Why should they make mistakes? Can they not write the date properly? Thakur is now standing in the room with Baburam beside him. He's talking about Benipal's letter. He touches Baburam and at once passes into Samadhi. The devotees stand all around Sri Ramakrishna. They gaze in speechless wonder at this great saint in Samadhi on this very auspicious day. His left leg is extended and his neck is bent a little forward. He has placed his hand at the nape of Baburam's neck near the ear. After some time, he comes out of his Samadhi. He stands with his hand on his cheek, appearing worried. Smiling a little, he addresses the devotees. I have seen how far you all have advanced. I have seen Rakhal, him, that is Mani, that is M, Surendra, Baburam, and many others. Then Hajra is asking, because he was also posing as a sadhaka. What about me? Sri Ramakrishna, yes. Hajra, is there still much bondage? Sri Ramakrishna, no, not so much. Hajra, then did you see Narendra? He was curious to know because he's like competing with Narendra. He had told him that I have 125%, you have 100%, and Thakur has perhaps 75% or something like that. So Hajra is saying, did you see Narendra? You have seen Rakhal, you have seen Mani, you have seen Surendra, Baburam, they're all great direct disciples of yours, and you have seen me, which is good. No, he has not seen him, but he says, do I have much bondage? He knew he had bondage. So is there still much bondage? He's asking. Sri Ramakrishna says, no. So did you see Narendra? Sri Ramakrishna now replies, says, no, I didn't see him. But I can say this, that he is a bit entangled. You see, at that time, Naren was undergoing a very bad phase in his life. His father had died. But I saw that everybody will succeed. Casting his glance at Mani, that is M, I saw that all were hiding themselves. The devotees are speechless. They don't want, they know Sri Ramakrishna is speaking in a very mystic language now. Whatever he is seeing about the disciples, he is going to say. And they are eager to listen. What is his opinion about different people? Even Narendra at that time, he was undergoing some problems. So that is why he says, yes, he is a bit entangled, but he will soon succeed. Or everybody will succeed. Sri Ramakrishna. The devotees are speechless and listen to the wonderful words of Thakur as though a voice from above is speaking through him. Sri Ramakrishna. But I passed into that mood when I touched Baburam. So Baburam, they say, was so pure that Sri Ramakrishna would not touch anyone when he was in a high state. But as soon as he touched Baburam, he went into a very high state. Then Hajra is very keen, being a very chalak person, a very clever person. He says, who comes first? I mean, who is the best disciple? Sri Ramakrishna does not reply. After a while, he says, all are not like Nitya Gopal. But he has not said he is the first or the best. He says, but all are not like Nitya Gopal. Now, he is just saying this. People are trying to understand or get their own meanings from what he said. Thakur is still thoughtful. He stands in the same mood. He says, I wish. See, now he's worried about not the direct disciples. He's worried about a householder disciple whom he feels is doing a lot of work. I wish Adar Sen, he loved him very much. He had gone to his house so many times. I wish Adar Sen had less work. But then I am also afraid his British boss might scold him. So he's not even able to tell him, you don't do much work. He will definitely listen to Thakur, but then he is afraid. See how practical Thakur is. He might say, what is all this nonsense? I mean, the British boss will say, all your spirituality and all is nonsense. All smile a little. Thakur returns to his seat. The devotees are sitting on the floor. Baburam and Kishori gently stroke Thakur's feet. Sri Ramakrishna looking at Kishori. Why so much service today? I mean, why are you doing so much seva? Ramlal enters and prostrates himself to salute Thakur. He takes the dust of his feet in a deep devotional mood. He is going to offer worship to the mother, Ramlal to Thakur. May I go now? Sri Ramakrishna says, Om Kali, Om Kali. Offer the puja very carefully. Then you have to sacrifice a ram. So that animal sacrifice was going on. It was stopped later, but it was going on in those days. It's a very deep, dark night. The puja has begun. Sri Ramakrishna has come to watch the worship. He witnesses the puja standing near the image of Mother Kali, and now the sacrifice. People stand in rows. The sacrificial ram has been consecrated before the deity. Now the animal is being taken away for slaughter. Sri Ramakrishna leaves the shrine immediately and returns to his room. He is not in a frame of mind to see the animal slaughtered. Some devotees stay in the mother's shrine till 2 o'clock. Haripada comes to the Kali temple and says, let's go. They are asking for us. The food is ready. That is the main item in the puja. The devotees take the prasad of goddess and sit down wherever they can find a place. In the morning, after the puja is over, Mangalarti of the mother has been performed. In front of the mother is the Nat Mandir. A musical play has been arranged. The Divine Mother herself is watching it. Sri Ramakrishna arrives from a bigger brick courtyard of the Kali temple to see the play. He is accompanied by Mani. Mani is about to leave. Why are you leaving now? Mani says, you are going to C3 this evening. I also plan to be there, but I have to go home first. So we'll continue from this conversation. It is page number 319. And Sri Ramakrishna's, it will go on now. Then he will go to the Brahmo Samaj function in the evening. So the theatrical perform was about to start, but Mani takes leave because he has to go home. Thakur asks him, you may leave now, just bring 2 pieces of simple cloth for me to use with my bath. So perhaps he never asked anyone for bringing gifts, but to his devotees, he would request. And all he wanted was a simple, fresh piece of cloth to wash himself. Any questions are there? Yes.
Was there animal sacrifice?
Yes, there was, as it in those days, perhaps it was stopped later, but Sri Ramakrishna, in almost all Kali temples, there would be an animal sacrifice. But Sri Ramakrishna was not in a mood to watch that, so he just leaves. But then later on, now I heard in the Dakshineshwar temple, they don't offer animal sacrifice anymore. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna All of you, those who are interested, may attend the 4th and 5th retreat, which is very interesting. Especially those who are very serious about their own spiritual practices will find it interesting. It is about japa and meditation. As I said here, Sri Ramakrishna says that is the essential part. Rituals will go on, but the essential part of all worship, the highest worship, as Gita says, among all the yagnas, among all the havanas, homas, I am the japa yagna. The Lord is intensely pleased when you do japa of His name. That is the most sattvic aspect of puja. We begin with tamasic and rajasic aspects. Nothing wrong with that. People who are predominantly tamasic or rajasic, it helps a lot for them to rise above those qualities and hope that one day they will settle down into serious spiritual practice. So, if you are interested, it is there on our website, the celebrations, in the retreat section. You can just log in and register yourself if you are coming. It is on both days, 3rd and 4th, 4th and 5th of November, Saturday and Sunday, from 3 to 6. All are welcome. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.